Hi everyone, it's Carrie, aka Nerdy Girl Crates, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I just finished watching What If Episode 5, the zombie episode, so I want to talk about it. But first, as always, there will be spoilers, so if you do not want this episode ruined, I suggest turn this video off, go watch it, and then come back. Okay, you've been warned. So this is the highly anticipated zombie episode, and I will not lie, after last week's Doctor Strange, I was actually looking forward to this episode. I really liked last week's dark atmosphere. You know, they didn't have too much crazy humor. It actually felt in tone with what the story was. So I was hoping they were going to do that again today with the zombie episode. To say I was disappointed would be an understatement, because all they tried to do was take a bunch of cliches and kind of just mix in all this crazy humor, and it didn't work for me. I'm sorry. After last week, really, I was hoping you would do it, Marvel. I hoped you would go there, but you didn't. So this episode picks up with the beginning of Infinity War, where Dr. Banner has been shot down to Earth by Heimdall, and he lands in the Sanctum, just like he did in the movie. The difference is nobody's there. So he goes outside, and Thanos' cronies show up, and they're doing the whole spiel about you should be honored that you will die, and blah, blah, blah. Then Iron Man, Doctor Strange, and Wong show up and defeat them, but then Banner quickly notices something's wrong. And of course, he can't turn into Hulk because Hulk is still whining over his defeat by Thanos. One of the things I did not like about Infinity War just got brought over to this. So, he quickly realizes Strange, Stark, and Wong are zombies. And he's trying to get away from them, and the cape is trying to save him. That's Doctor Strange's magical cape. Well, Wasp shows up with Spider-Man, and they're able to get Banner out of there. They go back to their base of operations, and you find Bucky, Sharon Carter, Happy, the dude Victor from the Ant-Man movies, who's very annoying. And I think that's it. I can't remember anybody else. I think that was the whole crew. Oh, and what's her name? Okoye from Wakanda. And at this point, instead of getting like an explanation from the team, the Watcher quickly gives you like a synopsis that the reason this zombie virus came was because Janet Van Dyne contracted it while she was in the quantum realm and brought it back with her. I was kind of hoping they were going to use the theory that's been going around online, where they were going to use that chemical from Civil War in the beginning of the movie that Cap and Black Widow had to stop Crossbones from taking. I was kind of hoping that was going to be the source of the zombie virus, but instead they decided to use this quantum realm theory. Okay, well, then it kicks into trying to be Zombieland. Peter Parker, who seems very optimistic for a guy who's in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, is doing videos about how to survive in the zombie apocalypse. And he's going on with his whole little stick about, oh, so remember to do this and remember to do that. And then he goes and he sneaks into the shower and he rips open the curtain. Poor Bucky's standing in there half naked trying to wash. And he's giving a whole spiel about how hygiene is important and blah, blah, blah. And I'm just sitting here going, why? It's totally annoying. It just takes the whole vibe of what the show started off with and just kind of like trashes it. And you have Banner too making quirky jokes, and it was like, come on. I really wish they went as dark as they did last week, and they didn't. And then the other thing that really got me, and I don't know if anybody noticed this, but it's like Banner forgot completely why he got sent to Earth. I mean, okay, yeah, suddenly you're in the middle of a zombie apocalypse, but you think you might want to mention there's a mad titan coming with some infinity stones getting ready to, like, snap half the world out of existence? Hey, you might even think might be perfect opportunity to talk him into snapping all the zombies out of existence. I don't know. But he never, for the rest of the episode, ever once mentions Thanos and what he's planning to do. And I'm just like, okay, I'm already done, and I'm not even halfway through this episode. Well, then they decide that they're going to go check out this signal that Okoye picked up from somebody who might have developed a cure. They have to go through the train station. Happy's the first victim down. And he has this whole cheesy scene with him with one of Stark's Iron Man gloves going blam, 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 blam. And I'm like, okay. Whatever. I guess it's supposed to be funny. And then he gets killed, but Sharon is able to take him out. That's the other thing. Again, there's like mostly the women take out everybody. And I know there's a lot of people out there online who are going to point that out over and over, but it is kind of like odd that you have Bucky, who's a sharpshooter, barely taking out anybody. Just saying. You know, Bucky, the oldest guy there. You'd think, maybe. And then you have Banner, and Hulk still won't come out. And I'm like, okay, come on now. And Peter's still cracking jokes, and it's not like a nervous type of just cracking the jokes. But then he tries to explain it later that, oh, Aunt May always told him to keep on smiling, and yes, you actually get a name drop of Uncle Ben. I mean, the damn movies never did it, but at least you get a name drop here. Well, during the whole battle, they get onto a train, and they're taking off, and then Zombie Cap gets on the train. By the way, when they explained the whole thing on how the Avengers became zombies, it was the dumbest freaking move I've ever seen. Like, this is where I agree with Peter. Like, nobody watches zombie movies. Nobody comes up with, like, a containment plan. I mean, you guys have fought, like, weirder shit. And here's zombies, and you all just, like, land your plane right in the middle of it and go, okay, like, there's 4 of us, and there's, like, 500,000 of them. Sure, let's just start fighting with no plan. Oh, God. Well, so Cap's a zombie. Bucky fights him. Bucky actually gets to take him out, but during this, Sharon had become a zombie. Wasp flies into her mouth and enlarges herself and blows up Sharon's body, but somehow in the process, she managed to get scratched, so now she's infected. Alright. So they're trying to convince Hope, no, you don't want to die. We're gonna get there. It's like every bad episode of The Walking Dead. That's where I feel like every bad episode of The Walking Dead got put into the show. And she's like, well, it's going to be a risk for everybody. And they're like, well, if there's a cure there, then you would be the perfect person, and la la la. Well, I swear, I've seen these scenes straight out of The Walking Dead. So they get there, but there's like a horde of zombies blocking the path into the fort where the signal is coming from. So Hope decides to sacrifice herself by enlarging herself and carrying everybody over to the base. Well, then Bucky notices like none of the zombies are walking into the base or trying to climb the fence. They bump into Vision then. Find out Vision's been using the Mind Stone to kind of like keep everybody at bay. And he cured Scott Lang, who was one of the first people to get bit. And he only has his head though. So he's like, suddenly now we're Tim Burton. Attack of the Planets, Attack from Mars, whatever. And he's inside this glass jar cracking jokes. Bad jokes. And he keeps saying, oh, this is a nervous tick and blah, blah, blah. Oh my God, stop with the freaking jokes. Just stop. They're not even funny. They're not even funny at this point. And I'm just like, you didn't even try to be a Marvel Zombies comic. You just were like, we're gonna make this all goofy because we don't want to take the zombie thing seriously because it might bother some people. I don't know what their theory was, but it was dumb. So I'm sitting here watching this, and then I'm thinking to myself, the other thing I found really weird is these guys are all zombies, right? Yet they're all able to still use their powers as if they were human. So it's like, okay, so they can use their powers. I don't remember if they were able to do that in the comics because it's been a long time since I read a Marvel zombie comic. But yeah, Doctor Strange can still use his magic. Stark knows how to use the iron suit and fly, and Hawkeye's still shooting arrows and hitting on point. Okay. Well, then you find out Vision's been up to something sneaky. Peter's trying to talk him into using the Mind Stone and broadcasting it from a satellite where the signal can get around the world and stop all the zombies, and I guess now it's going to go into World War Z. Instead of like a disease, it's a signal, and I guess they can just like walk around aimlessly because they're not going to detect anybody. I don't know. The problem is we never get to that, and I'll get into that later. You find out Vision's got Wanda there, and she's a zombie, and yes, she can use all her magic, and Bucky accidentally stumbles across her, and he also finds T'Challa alive, but missing limbs. And T'Challa announces that Vision's been calling people there so he can feed them to Wanda. Again, it's an episode from The Walking Dead. Instead of him feeding the people to the other people, he's just feeding them to Wanda. Okay, why? If you have this power to cure people, you cured Scott, and apparently you also cured T'Challa, and then he's like, well, I can't cure her because she's too strong. But you have the Mind Stone, so couldn't you use the Mind... I don't know. There's way too many plot holes in this episode. Well, Wanda breaks free from the containment she's in, and Vision announces there's a Quinjet in one of the hangar bays, and I guess this is like supposed to be the like Civil War, but it's not Germany. So they're running to the hangar bay, and Bucky tells them go ahead, and he decides to fight Scarlet Witch. I'm rolling my eyes to the back of my head. I don't know how he thought he was going to hold her off long enough, but apparently, meanwhile, Vision decides he can't leave her, but he rips the stone out of his head and Peter takes it. Stupid. Okay, absolutely dumb. Bucky gets knocked halfway across the world by Scarlet Witch, so I'm assuming he's dead. I don't know. I mean, the man fell out of a train and just lost an arm. He might survive this, but we'll never know. They don't go into it. Well, because Vision pulled the stone out of his head without thinking, the signal went off and all the zombies start running into the base. Banner realizes that the zombies can't bite him when Hulk emerges, because Hulk emerges for a second to block a bite. So he tells them to take off, and him and Hulk will hold everybody off, and Peter's like, I just lost too many people. Now he's sad, by the way. Now he's sad. Now it's all getting to him. So Banner goes, well, avenge us. But I'm thinking, but if you could turn into the Hulk and the bites don't affect you, wouldn't you be fine? Whatever. So he turns into Hulk. He convinces the Hulk to finally come out, and he battles Scarlet Witch while the Quinjet takes off, and they're all in the Quinjet, and Peter's a little sad, and T'Challa's comforting him and telling him death is not the end. The whole line he used in Civil War to Black Widow. And they're smiling and saying, soon we'll save the world, and then you see Wakanda, and it's got like a barrier around it. Well, guess who's there? And is now also a zombie. The guy Banner forgot to mention. Thanos. And guess what? He's got the Infinity Stones, except for whatever the Mind Stone. Peter's got the Mind Stone. And I'm like, okay, so he knows he wants to still, like, take out half the planet, and he's a zombie? And that's how it ends. Seriously, you don't get any resolution. Last week was a better episode. This week, it was like, they have a high, and then they have an extremely low with this show. And I was just kind of like, this was the one episode I was hoping you wouldn't screw up. I was hoping right after that Doctor Strange episode being done so well, I thought, hey, they're going to keep the memento going with this darker atmosphere. But no, we're trying to be Zombieland, and then we're trying to be The Walking Dead, and then we're trying to be something else. I swear, it was not the best. I think probably out of all the episodes, this was probably the worst. Seriously, even the Peggy Carter and the second episode, which is now completely gone from my mind, those were not even as bad as this. I thought this was terrible. I'm not sure how you feel about it. Have you watched this episode? What did you think of episode 5 of What If? Tell me down below in the comments section. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye.